HMRC is sitting on £44 billion of unpaid tax debt, and they've just revealed how they're going to come after it. If you're a UK director with arrears, you're on the radar whether you realise it or not. Now, before COVID, the tax debt balance was around 15 to 20 billion after recovery processes were actually paused by the government. Now, that number has more than doubled, and 5 years on, it's still stuck at over twice the levels pre-pandemic. Now, if you think HMRC is going to let this slide, you are making a huge mistake. They're scaling up enforcement, they're hiring thousands more staff, and they are investing hundreds of millions to recover this debt. Directors who don't act early are going to face field force visits, frozen accounts, and winding up petitions. So I spoke to a director who recently ignored HMRC letters. He thought he'd buy some time. And then out of nowhere, he got a winding up petition landing on his doorstep. And this is a crazy thing. He were getting wound up for £38,000, a figure that in the past would never have happened. So if you are behind with HMRC, I don't want you to panic. I want you to get prepared and keep watching this. Remember, Chris Worden, Director First, thank you for joining the video. Now let's talk about the size of the problem. As of March 2025, HMRC's total debt balance is 44 billion, 42.8 billion in tax debt, 1.2 billion in personal tax credit debt. And that is more than double what it was back in 2020. And here's the key, 14% of this debt is already in a time to pay arrangement, and that is worth over £6 billion. Now, by March 2025, 913,000 taxpayers were on something called time to pay. That's up 11,000 from the previous year. And HMRC says 90% of time to pay arrangements succeed. I'm not convinced about that, but hey, okay. Let's have a look and go, how can we make these time to pay arrangements stick? You've got to be realistic. If you sign something with HMRC just because you're desperate to get them out of your hair, but you can't stick to it, it means you default. And it puts you back in HMRC's crosshairs immediately. Let's talk about what their strategy is to recover debt. This is the bit you need to be paying attention to. So they've hired 2,400 extra debt management staff. On top of that, the autumn budget in 2024 and the spring statement in 2025 gave HMRC £629 million worth of new funding for debt recovery. That's £376 million to recruit and retain staff, £87 million to partner with private sector debt collectors, £154 million to modernise case management systems, and £12 million to expand use of credit reference data. So this investment is expected to help HMRC claw back over £11 billion by 2030. Now, let's talk about enforcement. Because listen, I'm on the coalface and I'm seeing the change, right? Field force visits are increasing. These officers are turning up at businesses more often, and they are pressurising directors to pay or commit on the spot. Now, these visits are very, very stressful, and they can lead to rushed decisions, and it's these rushed decisions that can cause you problems. Now, if you've got an HMRC officer at your door, I understand lots of people just want to go, yeah, just please go, please go. The problem with that is you're saying yes to something that you've not thought through. You've not looked at your cash flow projections. Some of you don't even have cash flow projections, and you're saying yes just to get them out of your premises. And honest to God, I get it. Listen, I've been there. My story is I'm not an insolvency practitioner. I'm the UK's #1 director advisor when it comes round to advising directors in insolvency, because I've been where you're at. I've had the pressures of HMRC, and it's horrible. Now, I'm going to come on to how to deal with time to pays in a minute. Just keep watching. I want to talk about the systems that HMRC have upgraded, okay? They're having more success with credit reference data. And what HMRC are doing is they're matching debtors faster, and they're spotting avoidance patterns, and they're tightening the net. So if you've got arrears, don't think you're invisible, because they know. Like in the past, people would play the game. What we're seeing now is HMRC are spotting it quicker, and they're on your doorstep. I mean, listen, let's talk about the good news. Time to pays do work, okay? I'm not convinced when HMRC say over 90% of HMRC's time to pay arrangements complete successfully. But you know what? I'll put that to the side. That's the figure that they're quoting. But I'll tell you what does help you with the time to pay. And I'll tell you how you can have a successful time to pay. And it comes from negotiating realistic terms, okay? Don't overpromise. Don't panic when HMRC come knocking. They're knocking saying, listen, there's a problem. We want to try and help you fix it. Go in with the right numbers. And if you get the right numbers, you can get the right plan and get yourself out of mither, okay? Where do right numbers come from? It's down to that key financial information that I talk about all the time. Understanding your profit and loss. Do you have a profit and loss? If you're making money every month, how much are you making money every month? Typical scenario I'll get is, you know, let's say I've got a director, they owe 200 grand to HMRC and they want to do a time to pay arrangement. They don't want to go through insolvency. And listen, I get it. I get it. Nobody wants to go through insolvency. And I say, well, what's your plan to deal with this? Well, I want to do a time to pay arrangement. Well, how long? Well, I don't know. I said, well, I think they'll give you 2 years. So we have a look at it and we go, right, 200 grand over 2 years. That's going to be, it's going to be 8,333 quid a month. Can your business afford that? No, it can't. Well, how on earth are you going to set a time to pay arrangement up? You've got to understand your numbers, okay? Because if directors who prepare for these calls, they understand the cash flows and they understand who they're talking to, you're far more likely to succeed. And that's how you avoid getting wound up by HMRC. Now, if I've said something to you that's caught your eye, click on that comment, click on that link at the top of the section. One of my team will call you today. We'll talk to you about how to successfully negotiate with HMRC. Now, what you must do, first of all, do not ignore arrears. Every week you wait, penalties and interest rack up and enforcement risk grows. Step 2, forecast your cash flow. Know exactly what you can afford to pay monthly. Don't agree to HMRC's first demand if you're going to break it later. Time to pay needs to be sustainable. Step 3, get some help. I know firsthand how intimidating negotiating with HMRC is. They're trained to push. Having someone in your corner who knows the system can change everything for you. So pick the phone up to us and be proactive. If you've defaulted on the time to pay before, or if you've got multiple tax debts, HMRC are going to be harder on you. Get ahead of them before they escalate. So what's happening? HMRC is sitting on £44 billion worth of tax debt and they are coming for it. They've hired thousands more staff. They're scaling up enforcement with new technology and private agencies. Field force visits are rising. But time to pay arrangements do work if you prepare properly. If you prepare properly, it's a hard one to say that. The directors who panic or bury their heads lose. The ones who face it early succeed. If you're a UK worried about HMRC arrears, don't wait for the knock on the door. Contact us as a director first today. We'll help you negotiate a sustainable arrangement and protect you from enforcement. Now, if you want to know more about how to set up a time to pay arrangement, go on that video there. I'm going to tell you everything about time to pay arrangements. I'm going to tell you what to do, what not to do, and I'm going to give you the best chance of getting HMRC to say yes.